Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. On our last video we spoke about the broad topic of Furussiya and tried to give a general overview. Hopefully in today's video let's go a bit deeper, specifically talking about the different manuscripts that emerged. And if you were focusing in our last video, I mentioned that there are dozens of Furussiya manuscripts, which means it will be hard to speak about all of them, but let's give it a shot. And welcome to the Golden Middle Age. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so, and make sure you give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment if you want. It will really help the channel grow. Furussiya, what a lovely topic to speak about. One of the most diverse fields in medieval literature, with a plethora of material to look at. It's impossible to cover all of it in 10 videos, let alone one. So why did Furussiya become so popular and crucial to the medieval Arab and Islamic world? Well, before the Crusader period, the writers in the Arab and Islamic world didn't focus much on military matters. Maybe briefly, but not into much detail which could be successful on the battlefield. But in the 11th century, after the Crusade Wars, the Muslims realized that they needed to improve a lot on their military practices. The heavy cavalry and skill of the Crusaders led them to start meticulously focusing on improving military arts, whether it be lance and sword techniques, military formations, so on and so forth. When Furussiya literature exploded, they all had a foundation to build on, which was Ibn Akhi Hizam's work of Kitab Furussiya wal-Baytara. As we said in the last video, Ibn Akhi Hizam was more or less the founding father of Furussiya literature. He was the master of horse, or stable master as they call it I think, for the Abbasid Empire. And by the way, Mamluk Furussiya always had links to the Abbasid Empire. They technically took it or carried it on from the Abbasids and made it into a full school and art. This is something that you should always keep in mind. And there is also another work associated with Ibn Akhi Hizam. It's known as Kitab Masoon Jami' al-Funun. It's a variation of Kitab al-Furussiya wal-Baytara. And Kitab Masoon Jami' al-Funun translates to the book that combines all arts. It contains instructions for training with lances and swords and stick fighting, horse riding, and so many other topics such as army formations. It would be a very interesting manuscript to try and analyze and also reenact some of the training methods. So hopefully we can do this in future videos. Another interesting work is Kitab al-Furussiya bi-Rasm al-Jihad, which was written I believe in the 14th century by Najm al-Din al-Ayyub, or Ayyubi, who was a well-known master of tournaments and a specialist at lance. As you can guess, this focused on cavalry, especially in tournaments. He also focused a lot on lance and spear and javelin techniques in the 13-volume manuscript. It was also very dedicated to lance and javelin play related to tournaments, but I guess that could be also translated onto the battlefield. He had other manuscripts that related to this field as well, such as Kitab fil Ghazu wal Jihad wa Tartib al-La'ab fil Rumuh, which also talks about lance exercises, specifically 72 lance exercises. To mention another one, and I know we're going through this very quickly, but there's a lot to cover. One of the most famous Furussiya treatises is known as Nihayat al-Su'ul. I'm sure you've heard of it. The full name is Nihayat al-Su'ul wal-Umniya fi Ta'allum A'mal al-Furussiya. It was written by Muhammad ibn Isa ibn Ismail al-Hanafi. This became one of the most popular Mamluk books on Furussiya, and the earliest known copy was in the 14th century, and this was given to Mamluk soldiers. It included horsemanship, warfare, how to train with different weapons, and it had 12 chapters. You find that these Furussiya manuals are so detailed and specific, which just illustrates the amount of effort that they put into it and how important this concept was for them. I mean, it was these Furussiya manuals and training that allowed the Mamluks to become a strong force on the battlefield and eventually defeat the Mongols in Ain Jalut. Defeating the Mongols is no walk in the park, by the way. Of course, this great interest in military arts and Furussiya was stimulated by the Crusaders coming to the Middle East. Of course, one must also mention AlTarsozi and his works. Before I say the title, brace yourselves because this is long. And here goes. تبصيرات أرباب الألباب في خيفيات النجاة في الحروب من الأنواع والنشر الأعلام في العدد والآلات. Now time for the translation. AlTarsozi and his work was very popular because he wrote this manual for Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi, Saladin, big name. He specifically focused on military technology and machines like mangonels, which are medieval stone-throwing weapons that are good for sieges. He also discusses the trebuchet, which is similar, and these siege machines were very important for Saladin during the wars against Richard the Lionheart, and he got the theory and mechanics from AlTarsozi and his treatise. To summarize, medieval Islamic and Arab warfare really viewed battlefields as opportunities for training and logical ways to conduct military matters. They knew how and when to fight. It was literally fighting by the book. The manuscripts prove this, and the meticulous attention to detail is really mind-blowing. I hope you enjoyed this sort of quick summary about the different Furussiya manuals out there. It's a really interesting topic. I highly recommend you research it if you want to look deeper into the subject, and hopefully in the forthcoming videos we'll be trying to look at more manuscripts, look at what they say, try and translate, and even try and reenact some of the training and movements they speak about. So do stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and we'll see you again very soon.